Welcome my friends, Seven Gray here. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a tour with Megan and I have another step van, and you are going to love this step van. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her rig and show you around.
So this is my 1985 GMC Fire Command van. I purchased it from Montreal, Quebec. I'm from Ontario, Canada. It's a really reliable van so far. It is a step van, but it was used in their fire brigade basically to charge their jaws of life is what we're thinking, because it had a lot of electrical panels and generators in it. It has a 350 small block Chevy engine inside of it, and it is gas. And it gets about 12 to 15 miles to the gallon, which is really surprising, but it's because it is a 3-ton truck and I only have 1 ton in it, so I'm getting actually really good fuel mileage with it. This wood paneling I actually put on the side because there were 3 huge steel doors on the side of the van, and they were breaking the fiberglass actually, and they were a really big leak issue. So I removed the doors and I put cedar siding on the side. It's a pretty big focal point for a lot of people. It's kind of got that like beaver panel look and it definitely makes it look like a home on the outside as much as it does on the inside, which is what I love about it. So the windows I actually installed myself with my dad's assistance. I was really nervous about cutting holes in the side of my vehicle and in the roof of my vehicle, so I put a window on the side here and I put a window on the other side as well. There was only 1 small window in the van when I purchased it. And then I have my solar system on the top of the van. I have a 300-watt solar panel charging a 150 amp hour battery and a 500-watt inverter. Our usage is pretty minimal, so I calculated everything out and we've had 0 issues with our solar system, and we've been on the road for about 4 months now. So this is my garage space. I'd say it's maybe like 1.5 feet. I don't remember how much space exactly I did deep, but it's been really, really helpful. I put in these shelves and just held these baskets in with chains. And it's got all of our camping gear in it. It's got my tools in it. We also have a small cat door right here because we have 2 cats that are full-time on the road with us, and their kitty litter box is out of our living space, which was really important to me when I did the build. We have an extension ladder so that I can get up and put my chimney on my wood stove when we park, and then take it off when we're ready to drive. Hammocks, a Christmas tree, just things that I wouldn't want in my living space otherwise. And yeah, so it's been really, really great. So you can come on inside my tiny house. Currently, I'm letting my daughter I'm a solo female traveler with a 10-year-old little girl on the road. So right now, I am in the process of wanting to redo the whole front end. So I've let this become just an open canvas for Molly, and she's been painting the doors and the ceiling and stuff like that. And it's something really fun for her to do while we're on the road and kind of keep her artistic stuff going. My build isn't completely finished. We were kind of running away from Canadian winter, but I have, like I was saying, intentions of completely redoing the front end. So I'm planning on taking this dash out because it was an emergency vehicle. There are a lot of things in here that aren't usable, and I'm going to be putting a live edge dash in that kind of matches my kitchen countertops. And I'm doing it in an L shape so that I have like an area that I sit in. I can have like a coffee cup and stuff like that, because right now I'm kind of lacking in that when I drive. The dash is pretty cool right now because it's definitely got all those, it was from Montreal, so it has all these French labels on it and stuff like that, which is really funny. But I would like one that's a lot more functional, so I'll be doing that next summer when we go home. This is my solar system. We had a friend of ours, actually Ray, has a company called Ray Outfitted, and he helped me do the solar install because the electrics of it really intimidated me. I did like 80 to 90% of the build by myself, but there were things that I just was too intimidated by. I'm not an electrician, so yeah, he gave me a hand with all this, and as you can see, his work is very neat and tidy, and I helped him with the install, so I was able to like wrap my head around how it functions and be able to fix and repair things on my own. So I have my charge controller, I have my 150 amp hour AGM battery, and my inverter, and I do actually plan on boxing this in, leaving it accessible, but I'm going to be putting a bench style seating up in the front next summer when we go home as well. This cabinet here actually is currently our bathroom cupboard cabinet because this will eventually be our bathroom. Another thing that's going to be happening next summer. I did put like finishing things like the pallet boards and stuff on the side, and these all the cupboards that you're gonna see in the van are actually from Habitat for Humanity. I got the whole kitchen for $150, and they were all this dark brown wood color, and they were really stained because they're quite old. So I just refinished them. I repainted them white on the outsides and the insides to freshen them up, and then I did the fronts white too, just because I'm all about like bright and airy spaces, and the white really cleaned everything up. This is my fridge. As a single mom on the road, or just a parent in general, it was really important to me that I had a super functional kitchen. So I've been really happy with this fridge. It's a unique off-grid fridge. It was really affordable, and it has a small freezer in it, so having things like ice in the desert is really, really cool. And it's very spacious, and it runs off of my solar system. It only draws 5 amp hours in a 24-hour cycle, so one of the greatest things about it is it's like barely kissing my solar system, so that's been awesome. And here I have my Grizzly Cubic Mini. They're a company out of Canada. Actually, both the fridge and the stove are out of Canada. I tried to buy within my own country as much as possible. I think that's kind of a cool and important thing. I really enjoy my wood stove. There is ups and downs with every product. For me, I'm kind of wishing that I had have put maybe a longer flue in and had it closer to the ground, because I am having a hard time heating the down lower area of my vehicle, which, I mean, I can probably relocate it and that might function a little bit better. I usually run fans all over to make the hot air go down, and I do have a stove fan as well. It's a really kind of romantic heat. It's like really cozy and warm and dry. I have a lot of wood in my van, so in general the van is like a pretty dry space, and the vehicle body is fiberglass, which is awesome. So it doesn't get really damp like steel and stuff does when it gets hot and cold. Yeah, so overall I really love the Cubic Mini as a company, but I think everyone has kind of like pros and cons to it, so definitely talk it out before you buy one. This is the other window that I installed. Again, I wasn't completely finished my build, so I do actually have to trim out the windows still. I'm going to be doing that next summer. And this is our bedroom area. So initially, if you look back in our Instagram, I had Molly's bed actually up here, and it was a really small space for her. It wasn't very comfortable. So for Christmas, I actually, as her Christmas present, I lifted my bed, which used to be down by the wheel wells here, and gave her her own like bedroom den, which has been the best thing that's happened to us on the road. We noticed that the first couple of months of traveling, we were kind of getting at each other's throats a little bit, and it was because she didn't really have a space of her own to go to. So if you do have children, I highly recommend you making a floor plan that gives them somewhere they feel like they can get away and have their own space, because it was a thing for a while. My bed's really great. It's slightly smaller than a twin, but it totally works for me because it's very long, so I can stretch out. One of the things that I've also loved about lifting my bed and giving Molly her own bedroom is I now have this amazing view when I park really scenic places out my window. So when I'm having my coffee in the morning, I get to, you know, check out the scenery, read my book. It's been really great, and I have a pillow problem, as you can see. But yeah, I think this lifting of the bed, which I did on some BLM land outside of Tucson for Christmas, has probably like been one of the best things that's happened to us as far as the build is concerned. One thing I should touch on too is the ceilings and the back wall while we're back here. I actually bought 20 pallets for $40 on Kijiji. The van is also from Kijiji, which is a Canadian-based online shopping website similar to Craigslist, and I bought them from a guy who distributes for Red Bull and he has all these pallets, so I took them apart with a friend from down the road. He helped me out, and Molly actually sanded and painted almost every single board in here herself. My daughter, she did a beautiful job, and I was able to have the leftover pieces that I didn't need from the ceiling and the walls to finish the cupboards, and it kind of gave it that really nice little cottagey look. This is one of my kitchen cupboards. It's crammed full of stuff. That's a van life thing, as we all know. Once I do my bathroom, I'm hoping the cupboard over there will become more kitchen storage, because I'll have a bathroom cupboard as well. And This cupboard here and on the other side are actually mine and Molly's closets. We downsized a lot of our clothes to live on the road, and we do have 2 storage bins in the back with like warmer winter things. I have my little silverware caddy that I usually stow away when we're driving. All this stuff that's hanging usually goes in the kitchen sink or under the kitchen cupboard. And yeah, these countertops were, they're hemlock, and they're probably a huge focal point in the van, I think, for a lot of people, and they're sentimental to me. My dad actually, this was the first wood he cut on his mill, and he wants to do mill work for his retirement, so they mean a lot to me. He cut them and finished the edges, and then I varathaned and finished them with like a food grade finish, and yeah, I really love the countertops. It definitely made the space. So my kitchen sink and my tap are really affordable. This one was from Amazon. This one was from IKEA. Together, I think the whole setup was like $75. The plumbing underneath is a pretty common setup in the van life community. I have 4 camper jugs under here, so that gives me 15 gallons of fresh drinking water, and then I have 1 5-gallon gray water tank. And I'll just empty that. I use biodegradable soap and toothpaste, and that way I can dump it anywhere, and it's not an issue. And I just fill up at like Walmart's, or lots of gas stations have water refill stations as well. I have a fire extinguisher under here, little caddies with like my cleaning products, towels, my little vacuum that I charge on my inverter. And again, my friend Ray from Ray Outfitted, he helped me with the plumbing. It was the more intricate things, like I did the build process, but the more intricate things like plumbing and electrics, I definitely had support with, because it was like, those are just things that, you know, unless you have somebody to get advice from, you don't really know what you're doing. So he was able to give me a lot of advice on how to do this stuff, and we knocked that out in a night together, which was really fun. So one of my favorite parts of the van is actually the skylight that I installed. It lets in, as you can see, a ton of light. It's really bright and airy when I take it down. Molly created this insulated foam board, and her and my grandma sewed a little cover for it, and we popped that up just to keep the heat in and the cold in as well, versus seasons. And also, when you're city dwelling, the street lights it makes it like daytime in here when you're city dwelling, so this has been really helpful. And it's nice when it rains. You can see the stars and stuff without having to go outside. The fiberglass body was already there, so I just had to cut it out basically and put the plexiglass on. So it wasn't a huge project. And I'm going to be trimming this out as well and finishing everything next summer when I'm home.
Thank you, Megan, so much for the tour of your amazing step van. This is gorgeous. It's just mouth-watering to look at it. Just I'm drooling looking at this step van. Just absolutely gorgeous.
We love it.
And thank you so much for watching. Megan has a Instagram channel. That's primarily where you can follow her, and I'm going to put that down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment, and I'll see you next video.